Hey Axis and Allies players, the good captain here, and welcome to the Ottomans round 11 in this game of Axis and Allies 1914, played against a human opponent, out-of-box setup, no bid. I'll probably stop saying that since I think there's a dedicated few of you who are still watching this, so you get the idea. Let's review. I realize I'm starting to have to basically beg for this guy's turns, which is not a good sign, but for now he still sends the turns back when I ask for them. Okay. So Germany did its turn, and we'll spend the balance of the video reviewing that battle in Alsace, but let's just review, do Ottoman's turn real quick, and get to it. So, yeah, so this is the problem I wanted to create for the French. He would, it's almost certain that he would like to move his army into Switzerland, but we sent a suicide squad into Switzerland to take care of that. Unfortunately, both the Ruhr and the Switzerland battles went well enough, and he's now forced to move to Lorraine. But he's also got incentive to move into Switzerland, right? Because it's free chicken. There's 3 pieces in there. He has plenty of armor to absorb any hits. So, yeah, looks good. And that's what he does. He sends Burgundy into Switzerland, because why not, right? Maybe he thought better of it for a second, but he puts it back in. Okay. And then he does this move. He moves. This is all right. Like, okay. He moves the French into Tuscany. Obviously, a little worried about Rome. Actually, I can sympathize with this somewhat. It's not going to go well for the Italians if the Austrians push on 25 infantry and 4 artillery. So I can sympathize a little bit. He brings up his supply train. And I think that's it. Yeah, he struggles with the edit mode. Okay, and then we go into the combat mode, or combat. Oh, I see what he's doing. He's, yeah, just putting a pin in Alsace. Very nice of him. Okay, battle in Alsace. Right, no battle. Battle in Switzerland. Yeah, so unless the Germans, well, first, it's kind of interesting to note that the the French, despite having the numbers, actually, I'll bet you there was a decent chance this could have gone into a stalemate. I'll bet you, let's see, what is that? 1, 2, 3. I'll put it at like 15%. Let's see how close we get. Something in the ballpark of 15%, maybe 5 under, 5 over. So 9-1-2 versus 2-1. I guess it could be under 10%, but it will be on the spectrum. Yeah, 13%. Oh man. Wow. Huh. Okay, well, lucky for him that didn't happen, but just barely. I don't know, I just realized that now, so I'm just analyzing it at this moment. But okay, so yeah, he does that, and the only way the Germans are going to get a score any kind of hit is if they score 3 hits, because the 2 are shrugged off by the armor, and that's what we got, 2 shrugged off by armor. So it appears to have worked well for him, but we kind of knew what was going to happen to them going in. The purpose was to prevent the movement of the French army in Alsace to Switzerland, and that's what we did. So we paid for that. This was an accidental battle in Albania. It's one thing that concerns me about the current edition of 1914 on AAA. It doesn't ask if you want a battle. It needs to ask, but can't find me a developer who cares. So, okay. Okay, the British, 10 infantry, fighter, and armor. This is pretty uninteresting turn. He reinforces the position in Belgium. Stacks up, pushes forward. Okay, this is all... yeah, he puts a guy in Kazakhstan. Yeah, cute. It's fine. Yep, he uses the transport to shuck forward. It's a fine strategy if you have him there. And then places 4 more infantry in London and armor 6 infantry and fighter in India. Okay, so British still they're collecting under 40 still. Again, the strong France strategy that I'm not used to. The flip side of this coin is UK is a little weak, and I'm going to I've been hopefully taking advantage of that situation as we move into the Ottomans' turn. So this is pretty basic. It's by all infantry. 4 pieces. Move the army back into Constantinople. I'm starting to wonder if he brought all these different colored troops in here. Well, one, I think he might have been trying to gather IPCs for Italy or France, but if so, why did he give it all to America? I'm not sure. But perhaps part of it is that he's worried about a counterattack. I do have 12 artilleries here with air superiority. So, yeah. They are good on defense, but I have no intention of attacking. So that's it. We'll produce 3 infantry next turn. And so if I were the British, I would absolutely attack next turn. And it's not going to go well for them. It's not going to go terrible, but it's not going to go great. Because they don't have enough... well, as you can see, they don't have enough artillery for one. So they have 5 artillery. I'll just demonstrate this. I've already done this before, but 33 infantry, 2 armor, and he can bring 2 fighters to bear, but I'm bringing in this Austrian infantry next turn, and I can bring in as many fighters as I want. So if I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. So I doubt if in this case he would, and I'll have 4 fighters. So I'll give myself 4 fighters, 12 and 26 infantry. Adjust the order of loss because you can't trust this thing. Run it out. Okay, and it's going to be -5 pieces for the British. It's going to be like 15, 16. Okay. The average attacker units left would be 19 pieces, so he gets to keep his tanks and artillery plus, 12 infantry. So it'll break the back of this initial British thrust. And the Ottomans will still have, all their air and artillery and a handful of infantry. And we have a ready pool of Austrians that I'm in a position to come in and reinforce. But the reason I would do it, I would attack uphill as the British, is because of all of this rainbow of troops behind it. You could then move in and just snuff out in an instant any chance at a counterattack and demolish the 6 IPCs that the Ottomans collect every turn. So I really feel strongly the right answer for him next turn is to just attack uphill, eat the casualties, shut down Constantinople once and for all. But we'll see what he does. We'll see. He's been surprising me. I like surprises in this game, so that's how you learn. So I think that's all there is to say about that. We will stay here as long as it benefits us. I want to. I think I can buy 2 or 3 turns at least, and on that 2 or 3 turns of time purchased over here before selling Constantinople off, I'm hoping to convert the Western Front into advantage. But that's for another video. The remainder of the time in this video, I want to review what happened in this battle in Alsace. So as you'll recall, I brought in 14 fighters and against his 8, but there was an error. So let's quickly go through the air battle. Uh, the first thing is to notice that I had 14, but the computer only registered 13. That's, you never want to edit in a fighter into a combat zone because it'll count it only as a ground unit. That's what I learned here. I kind of knew that beforehand, I just forgot about it. So I actually ended up going 13 at 8 and 14 at 8. The battle calculator said I should have had 10 fighters left over. Despite this amazingly awful first throw of the dice where I only scored 1 kill, he only scored 1 kill. So that was a better deal for him, but only slightly. We go into round 2. He still rolled. That's a good roll for only 7 at 2, but okay, 3 for 3. But it degrades, and he finally rolls. I keep up that steady rate, and he falls up to pieces. And I lucked out, and I ended up having 10 fighters left over, which is what the battle calculator said I would have had if I'd brought in all 14. So, still a little irritating, but that's fine. So this is the main thing I wanted to go over. My roll, or the CP roll, I should say, is par, or par-ish. I think I shot 1 down or 1.5 down, but that's normal. This roll by the French, this is a hot roll, but one thing I wanted to do is quantify my roll, so I'm going to take a quick second and show you guys something. This is a dice probability calculator, and for purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to just, whoops, that's a different game. I'm just going to cut out these 3 dice rolled at 1. Let's just look at this 62 dice rolled at 3. What are the odds that you get 37 hits with 62 dice? Well, first, what's 62 divided by 3, right? This is the dumb math we all do in our head. Sorry, what was the number? Was it 62? Yeah. So half of 62 is 31, right? Because this is how you add up all the numbers in your head, divide by 6. In this case, since they're all 3 defenders, it's relatively easy to do. We just cut the number in half, and that's what everybody says is the expected number of hits. But in actuality, there's only a 55% chance that you get at least 55 hits. Okay, getting at least 31 hits, excuse me. Getting at least 31 hits is just a 55% chance probability. So this getting 31 hits is also, this 55%, I should say, includes getting 31, 32, 33, 34 all the way to 62. That's what this probability includes. So there's a 45% chance that you score less than 31 hits. I'll just cut to the chase and show you his number. The odds of getting at least 37 hits is 8%. Sorry, I should have demonstrated. Down in the bottom is the percentage. It's 8.1%. Okay. Let's go back to that 31 hits. Watch what happens if you ask the dice gods to give you 32 hits. Right now we're at 55. It drops by, what, 10%. It drops by 10% when you ask to give you 1 more dice. So now you're at 45%. Watch it drop. It drops roughly 10% until it degrades a little bit to 35 at 33, to 26 at 34. If you ask for 35 hits, it's 18%. You can see it dropping precipitously. So to expect 31 hits is your best bet. But when you get to 37, you're down below 10%. That's not off the spectrum of possibility. Look at 38. Not even 5%. So it's harder. It gets harder to, obviously it gets harder and harder to score under or over the center line. Just if you add it up and divide by 6, it's hard to get over or under it. But 1 or 2 or 3 up, under or over in this case of 62 dice, not unreal. And so my gradient from here on out is going to be, if someone scores 10% under or over the center line, that's basically par or par-ish. But if somebody scores like 20% in the 0 to 20% range or the 80 to 100% range, that's a hot roll or a cold roll. Anything else is warm or cool, right? So that's going to be my scale. And this guy definitely rolled a hot roll by that scale. He scored in the 8th percentile, or I should say the 92nd percentile. If I'm looking from it at the from the French angle, there's not, it doesn't get much better than scoring in the 92nd percentile as the French when you roll back. And the last thing I'm going to go over in this video is how bad was this? Well, it was bad, but there's one thing that went my way, and that's casualty selection. Now, his casualty selection was, it should have been worse for me. I should have had -9, and going into this, it was something like 3 or 4 pieces in my favor. So to have negative, not only miss that completely, but to have -3 or 4 pieces would have been really bad. But he chose his armors as losses. Thank goodness. I mean, that took the sting out of this thing a little bit, because what ended up happening is that we have a battle, a tub swing of 0. So we had just a material exchange here. This means that I came away on top still technically, because I swept the skies of his 8 aircraft for the loss of 4 of my own. So I still came out 24 ahead in terms of changing the overall tub swing in the Alsace battle. Now, the reason he chose his 3 armors, insofar as I could tell, if we're looking at his position in the most charitable light, is because he didn't know he was going to roll super hot. And so this is why, especially when you're playing on AAA, whether you roll really bad or really well, don't, make sure, just ask for the guy to give you the casualty selection before having him roll back, having the pieces of his roll back, because you just never know. And in this case, I feel strongly if he had known how hot he was going to roll, I doubt he would have selected his armor, because now that really cuts up his options this turn. But we'll go through that in the next video. I see some opportunity here for the CP, so the battle will continue. We didn't get the decisive result that we needed on the West Front, that we were essentially planning for, but that's okay. I think there's still some potential over here. I think we can make this work. Again, one other point of perspective is how well the East Front went. We have quite a bit more material than I'm used to having over here at the end of a well or decently played Russia. So yeah, still should be a good game. Thanks for watching this. All the best from the good captain, and bye-bye.